I'm Wendy Gregory and this is my YouTube channel, The Wendy House. Today I'm going to be talking to you about 6 key things to look out for on a first date to know whether your new date is a narcissist. I'm a counselling psychologist and a survivor of a narcissistic relationship, and I specialise now in helping other survivors as well as in training therapists on the topic of narcissistic abuse. Please do like, comment and share my video and subscribe to my channel. If you'd be interested in receiving individual counselling, please contact me at my email address, which is coming up now on the screen. Now, nobody sets out to get involved with a narcissist, and if you have already been in a narcissistic relationship, the chances are that you're terrified of getting sucked in by another one. So what can you do to ensure that that doesn't happen? If you're wondering whether there's something about you that's particularly attractive to narcissists, after you've finished watching this, please have a look at one of my other YouTube videos, 6 Things a Narcissist Can't Resist About You, and the link is just coming up. Okay, so there are a number of things to watch out for on a first date. And there are many experiences that are common to a first date with a narcissist. So what should you look out for? Firstly, location, location, location. Now, a narcissist needs to feel in control at all times, so they will almost certainly make the decision about where you're going to first meet up. If you make an alternative suggestion, they will usually reject it. They'll give you a plausible reason, or what seems like a plausible reason. Also, due to their desire to manipulate and to be in control, the narcissist is likely to change the plan just before the first date. It's unlikely to be anywhere near where they live. Narcissists cover their tracks very well. They tend to be in multiple relationships. So it's quite likely the first date will be in a busy place, somewhere like a pub on a station platform, or maybe somewhere really off the beaten track where they're very unlikely to be seen by anybody else that they know. Now, if they're trying to impress you with their wealth and their status and their success, they might take you somewhere really flash and amazing. But alternatively, a narcissist might well take you somewhere very inexpensive and frankly rather disappointing. And that might feel rather odd, especially if they've been telling you before you've actually met up just how successful they are. That's a warning sign. If it seems odd, it probably is. There's probably something not quite right. So secondly, how does a narcissist behave on a first date? Well, we'll start with their arrival. The narcissist will almost certainly be late. They'll delay their arrival until you're already there. You're sitting waiting, possibly wondering, are they actually going to turn up? They're quite likely to text you 5 or 10 minutes after they were due to arrive to see if you're already there. And what they actually want is that they want to plan their entrance and they want to see the look of relief on your face when you see them. Attention is what they crave, and this is rather a pathetic way of achieving this. Compliments and flattery. Now, that's not unusual on a first date of any kind for somebody to compliment you or flatter you a little bit. But a narcissist will almost certainly bombard you with compliments. So they'll tell you how amazing you are, how beautiful or handsome you are, how clever and smart you are, what a lovely person you are, etc., etc. So you start to feel really good about yourself. Watch out for their body language. They may well mimic your body language to get you to trust them. Mirroring someone's body language is a way to unconsciously gain someone's trust. Now, the ex of a friend of mine who is an extreme narcissist, the ex that is, not the friend, trained and became a master NLP practitioner, neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, in order to manipulate people the better, because it meant he could read body language really well. That's of course difficult to be aware of usually, but you can do things. For example, try changing the way you're sitting a few times and see if your date mirrors you. Maybe sit forward, see if they sit forward. Lean to the left and put your hand under your chin. See if they lean in the same direction, put their hand under their chin. Now, when it's time for the bill, don't be surprised if they forget their wallet or their bank card mysteriously doesn't work and you end up paying on the first date. Now, again, initially that doesn't seem particularly odd. It could be a genuine error. But really, who goes on a first date without having a means to pay? Next thing to look out for is how the conversation will go. Specifically, what sort of questions a narcissist will ask you on a first date. Now, for the narcissist, the first date is an information gathering session. You may, of course, have been in contact for a little while before you actually meet up, either on the phone or online, and you might already have given away quite a bit of information. But a narcissist is still going to ask lots and lots of questions, and they're going to listen really intently to your answers. What they're doing is they're working out whether you're going to be of any use to them, how well off you are, whether you're a kind and trusting and generous person, and so on and so on. They may ask you rather inappropriate questions about your salary, how much you earn, or whether you've paid off the mortgage on your house. Alternatively, it might be a little bit more subtle. They might just ask about your career path. They might make comments and actually watch out for your reactions. So they might make statements. So for example, my ex commented at least 3 times on our first date, "You seem really affluent." I was a little bit confused. I didn't know why he kept saying that, but now obviously I know. So a narcissist will also assess your vulnerability. They're looking for a vulnerability, something about you that's hurt you in the past, and then they will appear to be the person who can fill that gap for you. So for example, if you tell them how partners in the past have cheated on you, the narcissist will then tell you quite convincingly that monogamy is really important to them, and they've got you hooked straight away. Now, however good it feels to be listened to, try really hard not to offload on a first date about previous hurtful relationships or experiences. Commitment. Now, the narcissist is looking for commitment really early on. You're of no use to a narcissist if you can't commit or don't commit. They can't manipulate you, they can't use you if you're not committed to them. So, they'll sound you out. They'll ask you questions like, would you ever get married again? And that's usually on a first date. That's quite a common question. They might just hint at commitment, so they might ask things like, what are you looking for in this relationship? That seems quite innocent, but actually there's already an assumption there that you're in a relationship when it's your very first date. Another red flag. So tell them that you're absolutely in no way ready to think about commitment at this stage. You simply want to see how things go. Okay, next up, what will a narcissist tell you about themselves? A narcissist always has an extraordinary backstory. It'll either be very good or very bad, but never ordinary or mundane. They'll either regale you with tales of their perfect fairy tale childhood and amazing parents, or else with a tragic, abusive and neglected upbringing. Either way, they've got your attention, and they'll get a lot of attention, be it sympathy or admiration. They'll also claim to have the same interests and hobbies as you do. So for example, if you say you love Kate Bush, they'll claim to have all her albums. They'll claim to have been to see her live several times. They might even claim to have some close personal connection with Kate. Don't be afraid to push. Ask a bit more. What's your favourite Kate Bush album? Where did you see her live last? And so on. A next client of mine was an amateur wrestler in his spare time, and he told me of how his ex-girlfriend, who was an extreme narcissist, also claimed to be an amateur wrestler on their first date. Whilst he was impressed at first, he later laughed about how he could possibly have believed her. She was 5'2" tall and had a really tiny petite frame. I have got permission to share that with you, by the way. This is simply a way for a narcissist to convince you that they really understand you, they really get you, they're really on your wavelength, even that you must be soulmates. So, what questions can you ask them? Don't be afraid to ask lots of questions yourself. Now, whilst you don't want it to turn into an investigation, it is fine to express interest, and if you're not happy with the answers you get, keep asking. Excuse me. Anyone genuine will be honest with you, and they'll not try to deflect your questions. So, there are some questions that are more likely to flush out a narcissist than others. So, things like, how did your last relationship end? The answer you're likely to get is, I prefer not to talk about it, and that's just fudging. Narcissists are usually still in a relationship when they meet somebody new. They don't give up a source of supply until they find something better and until they're quite sure that you're going to stick around. So, another question, who ended your relationship? Again, you're likely to get, I prefer not to say, it was mutual, it just fizzled out, something vague. When did you split up? They're likely to say something quite non-specific, so, oh, quite a while ago, a couple of years ago, but they won't be pinpointed to actually when it was. Of course, they might have forgotten things they've already said to you if you've been in contact with them before you meet up. That is another thing to watch out for. That's a real warning sign. Don't be afraid to challenge them about that. Another good question, and quite an ordinary one, where do you live? A common ploy is to tell you they've just moved from another part of the country. Don't settle for a vague answer such as, well, I'm currently staying with friends whilst I'm looking for a place of my own. Don't be afraid to push for more detail. Ask them, when did you move? Oh, whereabouts do your friends live? Maybe even say that you know the area well. Ask for a street name. Maybe say that you have a friend who lives nearby, lives in the same area or in the area they previously claimed to have lived in. Again, ask for a place name, ask for a street name and watch their reaction. If they appear uncomfortable with that, it's another warning sign. Why would people be uncomfortable with you knowing where they live? Another common, quite ordinary sounding question, where do you work and what do you do? Again, listen out for a vague or indefinite reply. Something like, I'm in finance, or I work in investment, or I work in the media. I'm a company director. Ask where and what exactly do you do? Any company names given can be easily checked up online through Companies House. Now, the most important question you can ask a narcissist, if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? And or what's your greatest regret? Narcissists believe themselves to be perfect in every way, so that sort of question completely stumps them, and they just don't have an answer for that. All right, now your first date is coming to an end. The narcissist may ask you if they can see you again before you actually part. Yet again, they want to see if you're committed, and they want the certainty that they're not wasting their time in grooming you. So go with your gut, be cautious and play it safe. In the words of Oprah Winfrey, intuition doesn't lie. If something doesn't seem quite right, it probably isn't. Tell them you'll let them know soon. Again, nobody genuinely is going to pressurise you into giving them an answer straight away. Finally, after the date ends, immediately after the date ends, a narcissist will start piling on the pressure, usually before you've even arrived home. If they see you as their next love object, they'll start love bombing you. They'll probably message you or even call you on your way home. They'll tell you they can't believe they've met such a wonderful person. They just can't wait to see you again. And then they'll message you or call you again the next morning, the next afternoon, the next evening, the following morning, the following afternoon, the following evening, and so on and so on. Now, whilst that can seem flattering, it isn't really healthy behaviour. Healthy people don't do instant relationships and love bombing. They take time to get to know people. They ascertain what people's character's like, what their values are, what their life's like before letting them into their own lives, their own hearts, their own homes. They have boundaries and they respect your boundaries. So, to sum up, whilst dating should be fun and we don't want you to be afraid or even worse, paranoid, with a little caution and a determination to set and keep your boundaries firm, you should have nothing to fear. So, don't be afraid to do a little checking up if you are uncertain, if there's something that doesn't feel quite right. And for advice on how to do this within the law, please do have a look at another of my YouTube videos. The link is just coming up. So, all in all, good luck, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.